Hey guys, I'm Firebox. Today I wanted to share my berry farming guide. This is going to be comprehensive, specifically for 16-hour berries, 20-hour berries, Leppa berries, and the berries that you need to grow Leppa berries yourself without buying them through the GTL. I created a pretty simple guide to follow along, so we're going to start with where you actually plant these berries. So there is a total of 156 plots between the two major berry farming locations in Unova. The first one being in Mistralton City, which is right here where I'm at right now. All you have to do is bike over directly to the left and down this long strip. And all of the berries that you need are right here. The second location that you're going to want to go to is Black City. We're going to be going to the Abundant Shrine. We're going to go up here to the right and up. Alright, and we're going to be going across this water here. You don't have to use a rappel, but you do encounter a good bit of Pokemon on the way, so I usually do. You're going to need Waterfall as well to reach this area. From here, all of the locations are actually right in this area, so you'll just follow the main way. There's 2 extra plots right here. An extra plot here. And then if you keep going up and to the right, you'll see the rest of them. The final one that's a little bit hidden is you have to go across this water at the very top. And that's it. These are the only plots that you will really need to use when berry farming. You do have the option to make alt accounts or alternative accounts, and you can use those to farm as well, but I would highly recommend not going outside of Unova and these 2 locations when you're berry farming. The first major topic that I wanted to talk about is actually watering your berries. This is something that confused me a lot when I first started, so hopefully this is something that will help you. For 16-hour berries, this can be any berry that takes 16 hours to water. You need to water it only one time, 4 to 6 hours after being planted. For 20-hour berries, which is specifically the one I'm going to be talking about today, which is Leppa berries, which I think is the best berry to farm, you're going to need to water this twice. Once 4 to 6 hours after being planted, and then one additional time anywhere between 4 and 12 hours after being planted. This part is very important as well. You need to collect your berries up to 7 hours after the berry has finished growing before you start to lose yield. And during this time, it doesn't matter when you last watered them. As soon as they're fully grown, you no longer have to worry about them losing yield due to water. To give you an idea of how much time this is going to take per berry, you're going to be spending between 16 to 23 hours to collect your group of 16-hour berries. And for 20-hour berries, it's going to take between 20 and 27 hours to actually collect these berries. Now I want to talk about the most important thing that I think this video is going to touch on, and that is Leppa berry farming. To grow Leppa berries, you need 1 plain sweet seed, 1 plain bitter seed, and 1 very spicy seed. To show you an example of what it actually looks like, you're going to add the plain sweet seed, the plain bitter seed, and the very spicy seed. And this is going to give you the Leppa berry, and it will also again tell you the growth time, which is 20 hours, which you can follow this guide to actually make sure that you're growing it without wasting too much time watering and not losing yield along the way. The big thing here when growing Leppa berries is you need to decide how much time it is worth for you to spend actually farming these berries, because you have 2 options. You can either 1, purchase the Leppa berry seeds yourself and grow them using the GTL, or you can grow the berries yourself to collect these seeds to grow them without having to go to the GTL to purchase these seeds. In order to get the seeds that you need for Leppa berries, you're going to need the plain bitter seeds, which come from the raw berries, the plain sweet seeds, which come from P.E.K.K.A berries, and the very spicy seeds, which come from cherry berries. The biggest thing that people are probably missing out on money-wise, which is something that I didn't realize either, is that when you start to grow your own berries to make Leppa berries, you actually have a choice when growing them to use either plain seeds only or a plain and very bitter seed. So to give you an example, let's say we were going to grow a raw berry. We would add 3 plain bitter seeds, which would give us the raw berry, or we could take away one. We can also use just a plain bitter seed and the very bitter seed, and it will also give us the same raw berry. If we take a look at the GTL, we can actually see the price difference between whether we were going to grow with just the bitter seeds or using a very seed. And we can see here the current cost is about $10.50 per seed, which would cost us about $3,100 to grow one raw berry. But if we used a very bitter seed, it's going to cost us about $1,550, $1,600 for one berry, which means that to grow one berry using the alternate method is going to cost you about $2,600 versus $3,100, which when you're growing 156 of these berries every day, it actually adds up pretty quickly. Next, I'll show you the same thing, but with the P.E.K.K.A berries. We're going to need 3 plain sweet seeds, or 1 plain sweet seed and 1 berry seed. The same difference being if we use the plain seed and berry seed, we're going to get the same thing as if we added 3 plain sweet seeds. And again, this is very important, because if we go back to the GTL, we'll see that it costs about $1,000 per sweet seed, but the price for a very sweet seed is $1,600. So it will cost us, again, about $2,600 to grow this way versus $3,000 for the other way. For cherries, you don't really have much of a choice because you want these very spicy seeds to grow the Leppa. So you're usually just using the 3 plain spicy seeds. But because of how cheap plain spicy seeds are, it's actually cheaper to just do it this way. You'll see it costs about $800 per seed, and very spicy seeds actually get pretty expensive at about $1,800 per seed. So it is actually more expensive to use the very spicy seeds in this case, which is why I left them out of the guide. I went ahead and added the last important part that I almost forgot to add, which is the yield amount. So for the Rost, P.E.K.K.A, and cherry berries, you'll get between 3 and 6 berries back per bush, which will be 4.5 berries back on average. And for Leppa berries, you'll get a 5 to 7 yield, which is about 6 on average per bush. The final thing I wanted to talk about in this quick guide is the actual profit that you'll be seeing from growing Leppa berries. For plain bitter seeds, we're going to go ahead and add $1,050 to our cost for that seed. For plain sweet seeds, we're going to add $1,000 to our total cost for the Leppa berries. For the very spicy seeds, we're just going to round to $1,800 per berry. With this number available, we would want to multiply this, because this is what it's going to cost per plot, and multiply it by 156. This means that it's going to cost us $600,000 to fill all of our plots with Leppa berries. The price of Leppa berries have been falling, but I think they're still profitable to do. So you'll see here, they're selling on GTL for $870 a piece, but you're losing $100 per berry if you do it this way. I've been seeing people selling them for about $80K a stack, which I think is about fair right now. Remember that we get 6 berries per plot on average because we get a 5 to 7 average. And each berry is going to sell for 800 each if we're doing it this way. This means we would need to multiply 156 plots times 6 berries, because that's how many berries we'll get per plot. And then we'll need to multiply this number by 800, and we'll do 820, because it's minus 50 from the GTL, which is usually about where people sell them. So this will be between 80 to 82k a stack. And you're going to get 767,000 back for your 600,000 investment. So you will make about 167,000 a day by just buying the seeds from the GTL and growing them yourself. This is the point where you have to decide how much time you are willing to invest to actually get the return. For some people, this is not worth it, and for some people, it is. I'm going to leave that part up to you. At this point, I've shown you how to grow the Leppa berries from GTL, what berries you would want to use if you want to grow the seeds yourself. Of course, if you're growing them yourself, your margins are going to be a little bit better because you don't have to buy them straight off the GTL. You'll be constantly getting more seeds over time. The only cost you'll have is paying $350 per berry to actually extract it. But with only one account, this is going to take a very long time to consistently grow Leppa berries, which means you would probably need about 3 accounts if you were going to be growing those berries and farming Leppa berries as well to try to make more. But this ends up being a pretty big time investment. You will be making probably 500,000 a day with 3 accounts. But again, you have to decide if that is worth your time to grow these Leppa berries and other berries between different accounts. With only one account, it takes me, I want to say it's about 20 to 25 minutes of planting and watering during the times that I need to actually do what I need to do. I think that's all the information that I had for you guys today. Thank you for watching. I hope that this was helpful. I noticed that only about 7% of you have subscribed. If you enjoy these kind of guides and PokeMMO content, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing. Also, I would really like comments to let me know any ideas of things that you guys might want guides on, and I'd be happy to make them. Just let me know. That's about it. Have a good day.